Welcome back to Newsday. Nigeria's banking landscape is rapidly evolving, largely driven by the rise of fintech. According to industry experts, financial technology is reshaping how financial services are accessed, providing a faster, more inclusive system, especially for the unbanked. Mobile banking, digital lending, and blockchain solutions are just a few of the innovative tools fintech startups are leveraging to challenge traditional banking models. Leading platforms like Paystack, Flutterwave, and InterSwitch have simplified online payments and enabled cross-border transactions, positioning Nigeria as a major digital payments hub in Africa. As noted by the Central Bank of Nigeria, fintech has significantly boosted financial inclusion, particularly in undeserved rural areas. Now, the future of Nigerian banking is expected to be increasingly digital, with government-backed initiatives such as the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. Fintechs are well placed to drive economic growth. However, experts warn that regulatory hurdles, cybersecurity threats, and the need for improved digital literacy must be addressed for the sector to reach its full potential. And Adeoye David Abodurin, a digital transformation coach and author, Fintech Black Box, joins us now for an analysis on fintech and the future of Nigerian banking industry. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Exciting to be here.
Very good. So, first off, how would you draw a correlation between fintech and entrepreneurship?
Fintech and entrepreneurship. All right. One of the big challenges of entrepreneurs is that you want to solve problems the easiest way possible. You have finite resources, finite amount of money available, and because you're an entrepreneur, you're literally creating capital from scratch. Now, what has happened is that fintechs have come as the partner rather than traditional banks. For example, in Nigeria, you can see a lot of fintechs, or what you call the new banks, or banks who are the smaller ones, who originally had microfinance licenses, partnering with entrepreneurs in very novel ways. Yeah. For example, rates of lending. There are very wonderful rates of lending. The processes to get the loan. So for an entrepreneur who cash flow is king, it's a major breakthrough. If I can just see a 300K, a 3 million naira, a 1 million naira. And what these fintechs are doing is that they removed all the hurdles that the traditional bank will have you pass through. And the lending rates are actually very friendly. And so you have fintechs partnering with entrepreneurs in ways never before seen. The access to capital and funding is far more interesting, far more juicy, and traditional banks, if we're not careful, will soon begin to have problems.
Well, I'm interested in what motivated you to go into this coaching, digital transformation coach. Why did you go into it? And how would you describe the trajectory of fintech in Nigeria currently?
Yes, interesting question. Thank you so much. I have a background in engineering, electronics, computer engineering, telecommunications, and all of that. And so I've always known technology. I finished my first degree at the turn of the millennium, around 2001, thereabout. And I've seen the industry grow. I was there when the first phone call was made in Nigeria. I was also opportune to see the first organizations that tried to do mobile banking in Nigeria, trying to partner with the telcos. So I have seen that transformation. You see, the future is tech. Tech is the future. The future is tech, and tech is the future. Now, everyone would need to transform one way or the other into technology. The same way typists are gone today, and they're replaced by everybody's laptop, is the same way we are witnessing some other kinds of changes courtesy of technology. Our lives are about to change in very deep ways that we can't even imagine. So those transformations from an organizational and individual perspective, and that's some other layers. So there's a macro layer, the meso layer in the middle, and then the micro level of transformations require some guidance and think through, because there are some challenges in selecting candidate opportunities for improvement. If you're a businessman, what should I spend money on to transform? What should I not spend money on? Where should I go from here? What don't I need to spend money on today? Now, there are so many of those kind of changes going on that require process understanding, that require business leadership, competitive intelligence, industry analytics. It also requires a lot of leadership foresighting and thinking. Now, all of that is what a transformation coach does, and I have the capabilities and the understanding across different spheres of influence. And we're discussing fintechs now. Why fintech? Because I've done a lot of work in futurism and the society generally. So ultimately, the future is tech, right? That's one. Number two, whatever you do, agri-tech, health tech, prop tech, leadership tech, entrepreneur tech, whatever, edu tech, whatever tech you do, you will either at the end of the day get paid or you will pay. So ultimately, fintech is the first place where the rubber meets the road. And fintech has the element of national sovereignty. You see, there are some points of influence in a nation. Our financial data, how many transactions happen per day, per week, per month, per second, where are the servers located, are also artifacts of national sovereignty. Now, fintechs have powers. These traditional banks are powerful, and the central banks all over the world, they are really, really powerful. No matter how much you hustle or work hard, the amount of money in your pocket is not dictated by your hustle, how much you work hard. It is a function of the determination of the thinking of the central bank and its policies and through traditional banks. So if I want people to have more money and I'm a central bank governor or leader based on whatever the fiscal policy of the country is, I will simply increase a few parameters. And if I don't want people to have too much money in their pockets, and why would I do that? I want the difference between the richest and the poorest to be limited so that public infrastructure can work, and so that all of us, there will be no extremely rich versus extremely poor. If I want to achieve that, all I need to do is to increase interest rates and lending rates. And all of a sudden, no matter what you have in your pocket, it will always be enough for you to just live your life. So those are the powers that banks have. Banks are the pulse of society. They contain the secrets. If I see your bank statement, it contains a lot of things. If I see bank statement of every Lagosian or every Akwa Ibomite or whatever state you come from, it's a big deal. It can be used for a lot of things, including warfare. So what has now happened is that there are these new entrants that were just supposed to be quick, moving, cash opportunities in the economy. No delay in if I transfer money to you, you get it in 30 seconds. If you transfer money to me, I get it immediately. That's what it was ease that I came by. But now it's becoming the main player because these neobanks or fintechs are thinking hard and deep. For example, why do I need to know another number apart from my phone number? I've not been able to master my phone my account number in Nigeria for a while now. But I know my phone number. So these banks, for example, in Nigeria came and said, awesome, your phone number is your account number. You see, that singular move as a futurist and someone that looks at the future, I knew those guys were thinking, I said, this is heavy. This is heavy. It has a lot of implications. And I don't know and I see the banks, I don't see any response. I'm like, oh my God, this is heavy. Look, why do I need a NIN? NIN? And then I need a national identity number, and I have a phone number, and there's my house address. What's all of that about? With my phone number alone, why doesn't that become the primary key? And we're saying, okay, we don't know who is where, we don't know where Nigerians are, we have terrorism issues, we have all sorts of issues. It's a simple process. The phone numbers can be tracked. 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 So we can know, let's even start from how many phone numbers are in Nigeria, which is already in the telecoms company's hands. The database is there, and there's something called lawful intervention. Where am I going to? Population challenges that we have in Nigeria, that is the root of developmental issues, can be solved by that single move that those guys did. Because now we can know where the numbers are. We know who the person is. We know who is holding number. The database is finite. Now, the unbanked people and the unreached people can be reached another, but at least we have not less than a certain 100 and something millions of people on that. We can start from there.
One would wonder why we're not exploring that option.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's my point. So I don't want to criticize anybody. But what I know is that what those guys did by saying one phone number equal to my account number is a lot, and the opportunities are plenty. I can just zone all of my life, and everybody can zone their lives around the phone number. It's an opportunity for the Federal Ministry of X that does National Identity Commission to actually thank you. So those are trends that these fintechs are doing. There are societal strings they are pulling. Another one is poverty, entrepreneurship. In fact, there's a series I'm doing soon. I'll talk about this a lot. Poverty. The way they are making capital available for entrepreneurs who are, and once you build a track record, you borrow 100K, you return it on time. You borrow 200, you return it on time. You borrow 300, you return it on time. After a while, the idea of getting cash-strapped as an entrepreneur, and from your business, some people are living life. But if I want to go to a traditional bank in Nigeria, I'm there for hours. So they're asking for my grandmother's burial certificate, my great-grandfather's arm, and they say everything's even not enough. Yeah. So what's going on? These guys are hitting the economy. What about remittances and the amount of monies they are moving? What about volume of transactions? The point I'm making is that the future is rosy with them, but there are some challenges down the line.
Okay, can I come in here? You're
Yes,
talking
please.
about challenges.
Yes.
The issue of fintech, cybercrime, not just cybercrime,
Yes,
but in-person crime itself. How proactive are we in curbing all of that?
As a nation or as the banks?
As the banks, the nation, in that regard, both of them.
There are some very serious problems in that question, and I'm trying not to scare no one. I happen to be a cybersecurity expert too, and I have a full master's in cybersecurity, threat intelligence, cyber forensics. In the developed world, anybody can Google it. In the developed world, United States, Australia, Canada, the developed world, 95% of cyber crimes go unsolved.
Did you say 95?
That is a
Please
big
Google it.
statistics.
Please Google it.
That is a lot.
Statistics on the table says 95% of cyber crimes go unsolved.
But why is that?
Says Manchester Police, says London Metropolitan Police, says the National Bureau of Statistics in the United States. This is available online, you can check it. Why is it so? A couple of problems. Criminals and cybercrime have gone very far more sophisticated than the defensive cybercrime forces. What does it take to be a cyber criminal? Curiosity, good internet, a few softwares that can be purchased off the street, and a little bit of money like $100 or pounds. Now, some other things I've layered on top of it. There's now what we call cybercrime as a service. The way you have Windows as a service, all these as a service things, technology stack, you can have cybercrime as a service. So people are organizing themselves into units. It happens all over Europe now, then the United States, and they are beginning to explore crime. What does it take? 8 of us, in quote, contribute $100 each. That's $800. They buy a worm from this man's country, Russia, because that place is a black market for it. And then you easily start deploying the thing. So on the defense side, there's a limit to infrastructure, manpower, and all of those. Now, when you finally now catch cyber criminals, there are big jurisdictional issues. The person is in Nigeria, theoretically, or in Ghana, whatever. The server that was broken into is in Switzerland. The company the bank who owns the server is in Germany. Then the person who owns the account is an American citizen. How many judges, how many courts? That's what happened to Oshpop for a long time. You can't litigate easily.
Jurisdiction
is very complex to litigate. Litigation can kill. So the process is slow, bureaucratic. Then on the internet, there are technologies that make money disappear. There are places money will go to, and that's the end of it. And there are things like blockchain and crypto, although regulation is now changing that. where they want it to be identified. But if your money goes in some crypto pockets, that's the end of it. Nobody sees where it's going to. So there's a lot going on. There's also the dark web. And Telegram is another layer of that. Telegram is a junior dark web, where everything is available for anybody to do anything. So security-wise, are we ready for having financial pockets that are not sufficiently infrastructurally built up with facilities to defend us? Because ultimately, all of cybercrime is about money. People go after where the money is.
True.
And I said in the series I'm doing, Eureka series, the idea is that everybody must know that things are changing in banking. You can also become very rich because of some gray areas. And this is probably the best time to be alive in terms of understanding banking intelligence and how to use your money and how to invest. There are new ways of investing and new ways of thinking about money than just money in the bank. The game is changing, but much more bigger is that society is changing. We are going to have teenagers who will become super rich and young people who are going to have immense capital in their pockets. How are we going to manage them? We're going to have people who have capital and money and understanding. I mean, a 12-year-old boy was in Microsoft servers for many days. He gave himself up. He sent an email saying, I'm in your servers and this is the 12th day. And they actually wanted to say, he was just trying to experiment. Of course, they wanted to litigate him and then Bill Gates said, no, bring him, I'm going to train him and become an engineer for me. But what if he was malicious and wanted to shift money? And let me say this, 30 minutes hack. Marks and Spencer, they lost 300 million pounds. It's all available online. Arabs. So talk to us of Africa. So your question, what are the facilities? So I don't want to say that the future is interesting for us here, but this is what's happening in the West today. And data is available online. Yeah,
some very, very alarming figures you gave there, even though online it says that it's still a bit ambiguous because the rate of investigated cyber crimes is still very low because they don't eventually get to the end of prosecution.
They can't even investigate.
Yes,
yes. What I mean?
Oh, we'll have to leave it there. I like the way you embody the fintech world, the pros and cons. Thank you so much, Adeoye David Abodunrin, digital transformation coach and author of Fintech Black Box. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.